coast. I cannot stress that enough. The fact that don't focus on the storm path, focus on the fact that with a minor deviation, it can have a direct impact on our state. Yesterday, I issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency for every Florida county due to the severity and magnitude of the storm. Every county has been included in this order to ensure we have the resources for evacuations, sheltering, and other logistical needs. We are preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, and not taking any chances. I was briefed at 11:15 by the National Hurricane Center, and I spoke with all 67 Florida counties. Here's what we now know. Hurricane Matthew made landfall this morning as a Category 4 hurricane on Haiti. Matthew is expected to hit the Bahamas late tonight or early tomorrow morning. The hurricane will not have a lot of land to interact with before it gets to Florida, which means we have to prepare for a major hurricane to hit our state. We cannot expect anything less than a Category 4 at this time. Again, we know that people have died from Matthew. We know that people have died from Matthew. Please keep everyone that's in the path of this storm in your prayers. Matthew is a very slow-moving storm, which means there's going to be a lot of rain. And it's continued to move north to northwest with the maximum sustained winds at 145 miles per hour, with gusts higher than that. Don't focus on the exact track at this time. The storm will be close to our state, and a small deviation from the expected track could mean a catastrophic storm would hit your part of the state. We have to prepare for a direct hit. We will likely start to see impacts on our state within the next 24 to 36 hours. Having a plan in place could mean the difference between life and death. And just think about your family. We can expect to see impacts on Florida beginning Wednesday and going through the weekend. Again, we all need to take this storm seriously. Don't wait. We cannot rule out a direct hit. Again, we cannot rule out a direct hit on our state. Right now, we expect to see impacts all along Florida's east coast, ranging from the Upper Keys to Jacksonville. We are still focused on the I-94 corridor. Impacts of Hurricane Matthew could be as follows. Heavy rains. Forecasts project 4 to 7 inches along Florida's east coast. If you go back and look at prior storms, sometimes you get bands, which means even more than that. Rip currents, beach erosion, tornadoes, hurricane force winds. Even if the storm remains offshore, tropical storm force winds will extend into our state. So even if it stays off course, expect to get tropical force winds. As of now, wind strength is our biggest concern, regardless if the storm directly hits us. The probability of high wind speeds has continued to increase as the forecast develops. It hasn't gotten better for us, it's gotten worse. The probability for hurricane strength winds continues to increase. Again, this can quickly change, and that's why we all have to be prepared and get a plan. Things can become much worse than what's expected at this time. Remember, these are all projections. I mean, just even with Irma in the last, just before landfall, it increased into a Category 1 and didn't expect that, and we saw unbelievable storm surge. We have to be prepared to be hit by a catastrophic hurricane. There's currently a hurricane watch in effect for Deerfield Beach in Broward County, all the way to Brevard County in Florida's Space Coast in central Florida. There's a tropical storm force watch from Broward County to the Middle Keys. There's also a tropical storm force watch in effect for Lake Okeechobee. I've already talked to the Corps of Engineers. We're already sitting relatively high. I think it's about 15.7 feet. Evacuation orders may also be issued starting today. Please watch your local news. Many coastal counties are preparing to open shelters within the next 24 hours. Many counties are also contacting special needs populations. The thing to think about people around you. If you know an elderly, somebody with special needs, find out if they need any of your help. Go talk to them. If an evacuation order is issued for your area, please leave immediately. Once the storm comes, we cannot put first responders at risk. You have to take care of yourself. Now, First responders are going to do everything they can, but during the middle of a storm, they cannot show up to save you. I just told the story a few minutes ago. In Hurricane Hermine, there was a lady that didn't evacuate. She sat in her house because she wanted to take care of her pets. Once the water got to 1.5 feet and started flowing in, she got out, and the only reason she was saved and didn't die is because there was a high water vehicle that just happened to be close to her house and was able to take her to safety. So don't take a chance. Leave before it's too late. If you think there's any reason you're going to be evacuated, leave early. Don't wait. Just remember this. We can rebuild your home. We can rebuild your business. We can't rebuild your life. Follow directions of your local officials. This is serious, and your safety depends on what you do. Follow your local officials. Heed all warnings and orders. If you're on Florida's East Coast, you should know today where you will go if you have to evacuate. Think about where you're going now. Don't wait for 24 hours. If you're able to leave early and go today, do that. Don't take a chance. Go early. No one should take any risk in this. Remember, this is to save lives. We can take care of your home. We can rebuild a home. We can rebuild a business. But the lives are most important. At this time, counties along the East Coast are focused on protecting life, and the state is working with them around the clock to make sure they have every resource they need to protect and respond to this storm. I urge you to visit floridadisaster.org. Here you can find your closest shelter as well as information on road closures. It is very important you know where you can go for a shelter if you think there's any chance you're going to need one. Now is the time to know your evacuation plan. Don't wait until you're ordered to evacuate. Know now so you know exactly what you're going to have to do. Check the website and check with your local officials. This can save your life. This morning, our National Guard activated 200 members. We also have 6,600 Guards members ready to be activated if we need them. With any storm like this, you have to focus on the chance that we're going to lose power. Just remember, just with a Category 1, not on the coast, a significant portion of Leon County, Tallahassee, lost power for quite a few days. Everyone should prepare for prolonged power outages. I've been in contact with the utilities across the state, and will stay in communication with them throughout the storm. Many of them have already told me they've pre-positioned assets. At 2:45 today, I'm also going to be speaking with the heads of all the utilities around the state. We're going to make sure our utilities do everything they can to work together, to pre-position assets, afterwards to share the resources every way we can. Our utilities have also been put on notice to start reporting outages and restore information to the states. It'll be on the state website, and we'll be reporting that. I've been in contact with the Florida Highway Patrol and Department of Transportation, doing everything they can to make sure that if we do have to do evacuations, the roads are open to be able to do that. The Department of Transportation is doing the following. They're removing materials that block roads to facilitate possible evacuations. They're ensuring that there is fuel and road rangers on Florida's turnpikes, and preparing possible evacuation routes. Also, they pre-position fuel just to make sure we have fuel in case we have evacuations. Highway Safety has made contact with local troops in preparation for supporting evacuations in the major corridors, south to north and east to west. So they have a group of troopers that in times like this, they are ready to go on moment's notice to other parts of the state to make sure we keep our roadways open so we can make sure if we have to evacuate, we can get people evacuated. So the state has been in contact with fuel industry partners, and there's no reported fuel shortages at this point. There's no shortage in distribution or retail fuel shortages. Again, now's the time to check on your neighbors. Think about anybody that might have a need, whether they're elderly, whether they're disabled, any special needs. Make sure you're there to help them. We have to work together to make sure we make it through this. Everybody makes through this potentially catastrophic storm. So here's what you should have. 3 days of water, 3 days of food. Battery-powered radio. Make sure you have your medication. Backup batteries. Make sure your phone stays fully charged. It might be your only source of communication, only source of information if you lose power. And remember, after you lose power, you're not getting recharged for a while. So it might be your only source, so keep your phones charged. If Matthew directly impacts Florida, the destruction could be catastrophic, and everyone needs to be prepared. We're hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, and not taking any chances. I'll be heading to Nassau County now to meet with emergency management officials to ensure the entire Jacksonville area is prepared. I started today. First event today was down in the Keys, and then we're here, and now we're going to make sure Jacksonville and the entire Northeast is ready. I will be receiving the next briefing from the National Hurricane Center at 5:15 with all the county emergency management individuals. Florida knows how to prepare, but just remember, we have a lot of people that have never gone through anything like this. We have a lot of people moving here every year. They love our state. And so we've got to help them, let them know this is serious. Do not take a risk. Just because this storm path right now projects it's going to be off our coast doesn't mean we're not going to be impacted, and doesn't mean it's not going to change at the last minute. Don't take a chance. There's no reason to take a chance. If you ask anybody that's been through something like this and took a chance and put themselves in harm's way, they would never ever do it again. So listen to them, listen to their stories. Again, if you think you're going to need to evacuate, go now. Do it early before the roads get clogged. We are focused on protecting every life in our state. We will continue to provide updates on this life-threatening storm as it develops, and we're going to do everything we can to keep everybody safe. And I'll do a little bit in Spanish. Cada familia y turista tiene que tener un plan en caso el que Hurricane Matthew impacta a la Florida. Mi prioridad es que todos estén seguros y preparados. Tienen que tener 3 días de agua, alimentos y las medicinas que necesiten. Como gobernador, mi prioridad es que todos en la Florida están seguros durante la temporada de huracanes. I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has.
Governor, what precaution are you taking in the beaches? We know the little surfers come in and do stuff around the coast.
Well, in the briefing we had just before this, they started talking about they're moving everything off the beach. Okay, they are, you want to get all the things off the beach so they don't. If we hit the 145-mile-an-hour winds, they're not blowing and hitting people or our property. They're going to notify everybody about the importance of not being on the beach. I mean, this is a catastrophic storm, and the risk of doing that, and notifying everybody they shouldn't be doing that. On top of that, they're doing everything they can to make sure we don't have beach erosion to the extent we can. Every community's taking precautions to do that. But the big thing is, while it might be interesting to go watch something like this or participate in something like this, it's risky. And everybody I've talked to and I'll give you a story. I was in the hospital business during Hurricane Andrew. I'll tell you how storms change. That storm, I evacuated 2 hospitals, and in the last minute the storm moved south and hit a hospital we evacuated patients to. All the windows were blown in. We had to hand patients for like 10 hours to save people's lives. And so these storms can change on a dime, and so you've got to take care of yourself. You can't put first responders in harm's way during the middle of a storm. You've got to wait to get through it. So you have got to take care of yourself.
Do you have any officials on the lookout for price gouging?
Yeah, that is the local sheriff's departments focus on that, and then the Attorney General focuses on that. Every time I know it's something that Attorney General Pam Bondi is very focused on. They're still dealing with issues like that after Hurricane Hermine up in the panhandle part of the state.
What about after 2004 hurricanes? There was a lot of problems with gas stations not having generators. The state had taken steps. How are we with generators for gas stations and the availability of fuel for regular citizens come Friday?
Sure. What we're doing is reposition fuel. We're making sure there's fuel around.
Is that for the public?
Absolutely for the public. Every gas station is not going to have a generator, right? Just understand that they're not. I mean, everybody doesn't. It costs more money, and so everybody doesn't do it. But we'll do everything we can to get fuel to the gas stations that have power as fast as we can. And I can tell you, just like what we did with Hermine, we're going to focus on the groceries, hospitals, gas stations, as far as restoring power to make sure. People can get back to work as quickly as possible.
And one more question. After Hermine, and you got this total look at what could happen along the Gulf Coast, what is your greatest concern about what you could see over the next couple of days, or what Floridians could
People don't take it seriously. The biggest risk is people don't take this seriously. I mean, look, right now we're blessed. The storm track is a little bit off our coast, right? That's great. But it can change, and these change, and it's a projection. It's a projection, and and if it changes, the biggest concern I have are people are not going to take it seriously. They're not going to get prepared. They're not going to evacuate when they know there's a great chance they're going to evacuate. And then there's going to be people, if we do have evacuation, say, "Oh, I'm going to ride this out." Why would you ever do that? I mean, I love my daughters. I love my grandsons. My wife. I want everybody in my family to live. I want everybody in our state to live. So.
Governor, have you been in contact with FEMA or the White House at all regarding this storm yet?
We have in our Emergency Operations Center in Tallahassee. We have a FEMA representative there. And so we work with them before and after the storms. So they've been there already, and I've now done this enough years that I know them all. It seems like I know them all. So we've been in contact with them, and so.
What about schools? Are they planning to be open tomorrow, or are you guys planning to close some of them tomorrow?
Every school district is making the decision based on what they think is going to impact their area. So I know here they're talking right now about Friday, but they'll make a decision as every day as it goes on. But I think right now you're planning on being open tomorrow, for sure.
Could you talk specifically about Central Florida and how, in much of the state, it's been some years since we've experienced a major storm?
We've been blessed. If you think about it, it's been 10 years since we've really had a major hurricane hit the state. And the one that hit the Panhandle, it was simply a Category 1, and we had 10 feet of storm surge. I mean, I was in areas where 3 blocks off the beach was 6 feet underwater. And this water came in fast and left fast. And so my concern is that there's so many people that have never been through it. And you just don't want to take a chance. You've got to listen to the local officials. You have a great team here. They want to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing, but everybody's got to listen to them. And so if we have to do an evacuation, it might have to be fast, because if the storm continues along the coast and then changes at the last minute, the decisions are going to have to be made very quickly.
Can you talk more about evacuation plan, especially because a lot of this area, A1A, US 1, 495, all under construction, what FDOT is doing?
What they're doing is they're getting as much things off the road now to make sure none of that will cause any problems during or after the storm. Okay, that's step one. Getting anything off the road, declared so we don't have an issue that it's DOT debris that causes the road to be closed. That's step one. And then step two is they'll be out right after the storm to make sure that they clear everything as quickly as they can. We've got FDOT ready. We've got highway safety, and they've got a group of individuals that they come from around the state. So like if it hits this area of the state, we have people from other areas of the state that come immediately. They're on moment's notice to get there to just help direct traffic and get things going.
Governor, to tell back about that one, there are a lot of folks in emergency situations who feel like sometimes pockets of community that they're the last ones that get seen or the last ones that get help, whether it's state, federal, or local municipalities for issues that are helping. Have you done anything differently this year, or have you learned any lessons from the past to get to those folks who yell the loudest?
Well, here's been my experience, and we have very good sheriff's department. We have good police chiefs. We have good emergency management teams everywhere. I've already talked to. I've been talking to the utilities. I have a call with all the utilities later today. I can tell you that my experience, everybody wants to help everybody. I don't have an experience. I can't think of any in the almost 6 years I've been governor that whether most of it so far has been mostly flooding, but people want to show up. We also, let me tell you, the Red Cross and Salvation Army, they do a great job with the shelters. We have and we're opening shelters around the state as we need them, county by county as we need them. I'll tell you, this is a good state. People help each other. I'll tell you one thing, whether it's the hurricane or whether it's the pulse attack, things like that, this state, people come together.
We'll take one more. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you, Governor. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Nice to see you. Jason. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Governor,
Good
thank you
job.
so very much.
See you. Bye-bye.
As always, I think
Yes, and then let's talk about the schools.
All right.
Yeah, we did. You guys already got it worked out? Yeah, we did. It's gonna be here in the we need to open up more.
Not yet.
We will make contact with the,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. See ya. Absolutely. Yeah, we can knock this out. I can give you stuff and then you can, let's do it. Oh, you want to, well, I know Mr. Deneen is anxious, I guess, to get a statement, but if you and I sit down and we go down the bullet points and you can put it together, I can do this and then we can finish it up. So I can
So do you want us to let the media know that you'll?
I'll be right back.
Okay, so we'll let the media know.
Does the level of activation change any after what he said?
Yes. We're gonna
That's what we're gonna
talk
give you
about
some
that
more
just a
local
little bit.
All right,
information.
good,
Yeah. So yeah, we can let the media know he'll be back. Okay.
Mr. Judge, right? Now what?
Hey folks, Jim Judge will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes to give you an update.
Maybe 5, yeah.
Thank you. We really we can't.
Right, yeah, that's what, yeah, sorry.
Where are the areas where you're most concerned about coastal erosion? Where's the biggest?
Probably down in the,
Spare time?
really, we've had, bad erosion situations in the past. I would say, hospital over by the sea.
Gobernador Vizcat acaba de hablar aquí en el área de Evolution de Daytona Beach, específicamente sobre las precauciones que se deben tomar aquí en el área de Daytona, en las playas. Ha dicho que las personas que están en... Ok, perdón. Disculpe, listo. El gobernador Luis Cava acaba de hablar aquí en Daytona Beach acerca de las precauciones que usted debe tomar a medida que se acerca la tormenta máxima a la Florida. Nosotros a las 6 y a las 11 estaremos presentándoles el más completo panorama. ¿Cuáles son las proyecciones del Centro Nacional de Huracanes? Así que a las 6 y a las 11 les esperamos. Oman Machuca, Daytona Beach, Centro Espacial.
Clean and functioning, but they won't have anywhere to go. So, that's going to be the challenge. Some of these cities are going on, South Dakota.
About 5 minutes and you'll be back out.
Oh, okay.
But again, at the end of the day, it's very difficult to hold back the Atlantic Ocean. Essentially what you have, when that goes up, or if you have high tide, water on the east. So I will miss you.